shit knock and roll.
What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the CrownHoops Podcast. We are on to episode number 26 now. My name is Jordan Daly. With me this week, I have Stacey Collier and Ben Okazawa. Say what's up, guys.
What's up, everybody?
What's going on, everybody? Glad to be back.
Mike White couldn't make it this week. He wasn't feeling too good. So, Mike, feel better, and hopefully we'll see you back on next week with the rest of the crew. But let's jump right into it. Up first, Carmelo Anthony signed by the Portland Trail Blazers. He's been balling. He's only been there for a few games. But he's been doing well enough that the team just gave him a fully guaranteed contract. That's something that he didn't have going into the season. We talked about that on the last episode where we weren't really sure if it was going to last, and clearly the Trailblazers think it will last because they just gave him this fully guaranteed contract. So I just kind of wanted to talk about that with you guys and kind of hear your thoughts on that. Stacey, we'll start with you. What are your thoughts on Melo getting that fully guaranteed contract? And do you think this will affect his attitude going forward? Yeah.
Well, first, of course, he's going to ball out for that fully guaranteed contract. I mean, like, he has something to lose, and this could be his last shot in the NBA. So, of course, he's going to buy in to what the team is doing. He's going to try to play the best way that he can to get that contract, and he did. I don't think his attitude or anything is going to change. I think that he's going to continue to be on this pace that he is right now. I look at his averages. He's averaging, around 16 points, around 45% shooting, near 40% from three, near 6 rebounds a game. And I saw that for Melo with the Blazers all along. So he's doing everything that I projected him to do. And I think he's going to keep up with this for the rest of the season. It'll be interesting to see where he is after All-Star break, though, when the games get a little tougher and you got to play a little bit more defense. But, I think Melo is going to sustain for the rest of the year.
Yeah, I mean, I'm excited to see it. I'm kind of surprised that he's been starting every single game. That's something I didn't see coming. I thought he was definitely going to take a bench role, and I thought that's where his attitude may have kicked in a little bit. But, Ben, what are your thoughts on Melo getting that contract?
I'm happy for him. I mean, I'm one of the people who did not really expect Melo to come back, to get signed. And, I was hoping he would because, he's a lot of fun to watch. But I wasn't expecting it to actually happen just because of his stint in OKC and his stint in Houston didn't turn out too well. I thought the rest of the league would be kind of wary about that. But he got picked up by Portland, and then in his first game, he didn't play too well, and I wasn't convinced. He 4 for 14 shooting, he had like 5 fouls, 5 turnovers. But ever since that game, man, he's been on a tear. And in his season so far, he's averaging almost 17 points and 6 rebounds, and he's doing it relatively efficiently too, which is pretty impressive for him. So I'm happy that he's doing well. And by the way, the Trailblazers were kind of losing, and they weren't really living up to their potential as a team as they have been the last few seasons. And then Melo comes and, 3 straight losses to start. But as of now, they've won 4 of their last 5, and that includes a win over the Kings, which is also a pretty decent team.
So let me ask you guys this, and we'll start with you, Ben. In my opinion, part of his motivation to work so hard is definitely to get that guaranteed contract. Now he has it. Do you think we'll see a drop-off a little bit? Do you think he's going to keep going to prove all the doubters wrong? Because let's be honest, there were a lot of doubters. Not a lot of people thought he could be performing at this level coming off of that long of a break. So do you think his motivation is going to stay there?
I think it will. Honestly, I think he just he loves playing the game, and he's going out there every night and doing that. I'm not even sure. I'm sure he had the contract on his mind, but the biggest thing to him, on top of the money, I'm sure he has enough money. The biggest thing to him was kind of proving that he was still able to play in the NBA, and he's done that, and I think he's going to keep doing that.
Okay. Stacey, what about you? Do you think motivation has to be questioned at this point now that he has that fully guaranteed contract, or do you agree with Ben that he just wants to be able to play?
He's going to be motivated for the rest of the season and beyond, hopefully beyond for him. At the end of the day, Melo is a hooper. He's a natural hooper. He wants to be out on the floor. He wants to play the game that he loves, and he's doing that. And I don't think he's going to squander this opportunity. It'll be real sad if he does, but I think Melo's mature enough to handle his now fully guaranteed contract.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, I'm just happy to see Carmelo play again. I'm happy for the guy that, he went out there, he proved everyone wrong, he got his contract guaranteed now. But the one thing I'm going to be watching moving forward is how well is he going to be able to continue to do as the season goes on. He's 35 years old. Not many guys in the NBA make it that long in a career. It starts taking a toll on you. Guys like LeBron James are obviously just a freak of nature, as in no one else does what LeBron does at that age. It's insane. So definitely going to keep an eye on Carmelo to see if he can keep it up that long. NBA is a long season. It's 82 games. That's a lot of work night in, night out. You got the games, you got the practices. It's never really ending. So that's my biggest question with Carmelo right now is how he'll be able to do going throughout the length of the season. But to close it out on Carmelo, I want to move on to another player in the league that's kind of caught everyone by surprise. We have Eric Paschall of the Golden State Warriors. He was drafted 41st overall in this previous NBA draft. I'd never really heard of him going into the draft. We live streamed the draft. I don't remember his name being called. I don't remember anything about this guy. I couldn't even tell you where he played college ball.
Villanova.
Villanova. There we go. Wow, I look dumb now.
Yeah.
But the dude's been balling. Everyone talks about Rookie of the Year. It's been between Ja Morant and Zion Williamson. That's kind of been the talk, leading up to this point. But we need to throw a new name in there, and that new name is Eric Paschall. We tweeted this out on CrownHoops Twitter, a screenshot from the Golden State Warriors' recent game versus Charlotte. NBC Sports put up a infographic. Eric Paschall is leading the rookie class in minutes, points, field goals made, free throws made, rebounds, points in the paint, and second chance points. He's balling, guys. And I think he has to thank, I don't want to say it this way, but the injuries definitely kind of helped him with that team. He's getting a spotlight that he probably wouldn't have had otherwise. And he's making the most out of it. He's really putting on a show for Golden State when they're kind of down in the dumps. They really don't have much around anymore with all the injuries and the recent trades. We got KD on the move. So I kind of want to talk about Eric Paschall with you guys for a little bit. Is he the real deal? Is he going to be able to make a career in the NBA? Or is it just kind of because he's on Golden State and there's really no one else there? And to close it off, we kind of discussed this on Twitter earlier. Does he have a shot, a real genuine shot at Rookie of the Year? We're going to start with you, Stacey, this time. What are your thoughts on Eric Paschall?
Yeah, he does have a shot for Rookie of the Year. He's playing very well. He's only getting elevated because my Rookie of the Year, Ja Morant, got hurt around the same time Paschall is coming up. So he's taking advantage of that, and he should take advantage of that. He should take advantage of the fact that the Warriors are down all their key players via free agency and injury, and he's stepping up. Far as him sustaining career-wise, I don't know. Because, when Steph come back, Clay come back, D'Angelo Russell might stay there. They might sign a veteran. They can get a pretty good veteran. They're going to have a top 5 pick. They're going to have to work him into the lineup, whoever that may be. So Paschall could be taking a step back a little bit when all those pieces come back together in 2020. So I don't know. And he did come out kind of nowhere. I already knew he came from Villanova. He was part of that championship team, I believe, but I didn't see this coming. I didn't see him balling from the 41st pick in the NBA draft. I thought he was going to be one of those players that was going to be like a role player, 7-8 points per game, just out there providing some minutes, energy. But, it is a great story. But, I'm still going to stick with Ja Morant for my Rookie of the Year.
What about you, Ben?
I think he does. He does have a real genuine shot at MVP. He's been putting up great numbers for sure, and he's been doing it on incredibly efficient shooting. He's shooting almost 51% from the field. Do I think he can win Rookie of the Year? Of course. Do I think he's going to? Not really. I think if Zion comes back in time, he'll still be a contender. I think at this point, Ja Morant is still the leading contender. And for me personally, I would still have Tyler Hero above him, just because it's sort of more impressive to me that he's putting up almost equally impressive numbers on a much deeper team. He's just come in and stepped up to be a good player on a contender right away. But as far as Eric Paschall and having a career in the NBA, I don't think he's going to do this for his whole career, because he's not going to play on one of the worst teams in the NBA for the rest of his career. But at the same time, I think he can be a good role player as long as he accepts that role, whatever it is.
Yeah, I definitely get that. I mean, I don't know. I give him a real shot. I'm pretty sure a couple episodes ago we rated our top 3 contenders for Rookie of the Year. I had Eric Paschall in mind.
Oh, did you? Okay.
I did have him in my top 3. Or was it top 5? I don't remember how many we did.
We did 3. No, kudos to you.
I think I had Paschall at my 3rd. I think I had it as either Kendrick Nunn or Tyler Hero, and then Paschall. But at this point, I'd put Paschall at 2. I think he's doing better than Kendrick Nunn and Tyler Hero. What he's done so far is incredible. I mean, he had no reputation going into the league. 41st, I think I said, 41st pick in the NBA draft. Not a lot of people knew about him. Put up numbers like this, and like you said, at almost a 51% field goal rate. 32% from beyond the arc as a power forward. That's pretty impressive. He's a power forward. So, I mean, even when Steph comes back, Clay comes back, D'Lo stays healthy, he'll still be in that starting lineup. He'll probably be right next to Draymond Green. He's a power forward, but we saw guys like Al Horford, who's a true power forward, play center. We've seen guys at the power forward, even at the small forward, play as the 5, because the NBA is kind of shifting more to a small ball lineup. We see that with the Celtics every night. I give this guy a real chance for a good career in the NBA. I mean, if he can put up numbers like this every single year and keep improving, he'll be an all-star soon enough. And I genuinely believe that. I mean, right now it's hard to judge because he is on the Warriors, and it's so weird calling the Warriors a bad team. But, it'll be interesting to see when more talent gets onto that roster to see if he can put those numbers up with other people to share the wealth in, which you brought up. Tyler Hero has that in Miami, and he's sharing the ball with Jimmy Butler. Eric Paschall isn't really sharing the ball with anyone at that caliber. So that'll be interesting to see. Do you guys have any more thoughts on Paschall?
No.
All right, we'll move on from him then. I guess, I don't know. So do you guys have him in your top 3 now, would you say, for Rookie of the Year?
I'll put him in my top 3. Unfortunately, I'm gonna have to take out RJ Bird because, for obvious reasons.
I would agree.
But
I had him on my fantasy team. I dropped him. So who would you have above him? Obviously, Ja, and who else?
I had Tyler Hero at 3, and now I got him at 2. Just for the reasons Ben saying, and I was more looking forward to Hero than Paschall, honestly. So.
Mm-hmm.
What about you, Ben?
Yeah, I'd say, he can be my 3. I really like Rui Hachimura, though. I'm gonna keep saying that. I'm gonna keep.
He's been putting up numbers, man. I respect it.
He's been good.
I respect it. I was looking at him on the fantasy app tonight. He did pretty well tonight. It's
27 points, 11 for 18 shooting, 7 boards.
He's a good player. I mean, I gotta give you credit.
Sixers too, and they got the win.
Yeah, he's a good player. He's definitely one of those underrated guys that he's kind of like Eric Paschall was. Not a lot of people know about him, but he's starting to make a name for himself. I kind of like that about him. Do you guys think Zion's chances are gone for Rookie of the Year?
He'd need to come back before Christmas, to me.
You know what? I think it's pretty much a wrap. We getting close to it to being a wrap. It's December 5th, and I don't see him coming back for a minute, maybe January, honestly. So if he comes back in January, then I don't think he should be in the running, unless he averaged 40 points per game or something. I don't know.
I already think it's too late. I mean, today's what? December 5th. Mark my words, December 5th. It's 11:14 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Zion Williamson's not winning Rookie of the Year. There's no chance. I mean, look at the previous years. You talked about this before. Like Trae Young and Luka Doncic, they both played the entire year. Trae Young didn't play as well as Luka did in the beginning of it, so Trae Young didn't win. Zion's not even playing.
Yeah.
And Zion's getting thick. He's starting to get pretty thick. Y'all have seen those pictures, don't lie. He needs to get in the gym. I've heard he's not even working out. He's not even playing. He's not doing anything.
Yeah, that's too bad.
Well, can he work out, though, with his injury? Can he?
I mean, it's been a long time since his surgery.
Yeah.
I don't know. Gordon Hayward was playing like 2 weeks after he shattered his ankle a couple years ago.
Yeah.
He sat in a chair and took jump shots. He found a way.
Yeah.
Zion's done nothing.
KD's been shooting. Vic Oladipo's been shooting.
Yeah.
It's true.
Come on, Zion. Don't let that be true.
I think, and I got to give credit to my dad. My dad last year called Zion a bust. I think it's too early to call him a bust. I'm not going to go that far. I'm not going to go that far and call him a bust yet. But I think his chances for Rookie of the Year are done. I think it's too late.
It's fair.
Way too late.
It's fair.
But moving on from that, something I want to bring back from last year. We had a couple of segments on the show. We want to bring back the Hot Take segment hosted by Ben. So we're going to jump back into that since the NBA has a few games under its belt now. So people are starting to go crazy online. So let's jump into it, Ben.
Yeah, no. First hot take, we'll jump right into it. Rajon Rondo, you know him, you love him. He's kind of an infamous, iconic figure. He does lots of fun stuff, but he's a great basketball player for sure. And in a recent interview, he called Anthony Davis his MVP and Defensive Player of the Year pick for the 2019-2020 season. It's a little bit early, and there are definitely candidates in both categories making a name for themselves. Stacey, who do you think that AD has a shot at either of these titles?
And both, yes. Is he going to win both? No. I see him more being the Defensive Player of the Year than the MVP. And the reason why for that is because my current MVP, we'll get to that later. But the second reason is the way LeBron James is playing. Like, LeBron is averaging a double-double right now. And he's, like 25 points per game or close to that. You know, he's not that far from Anthony Davis. And if LeBron's numbers were less than that, not like bad, but if it was like less than it, like he was just at 20 and 6 or something like that, then I think Anthony Davis will, his MVP candidate rating will be much more higher. But him having LeBron on the team and LeBron playing the way he's playing, LeBron's an MVP candidate as well. So it's kind of hard for Anthony Davis to separate himself from LeBron alone. So I see him more being the Defensive Player of the Year than the MVP, but he's in running for both though.
Yeah, that's fair. Jordan, do you think Rondo's off base with these MVP claims?
So a couple things I want to say on that. First off, I love Rondo. Brought the ring to Boston in 2008. Love you, Rondo. Always remember your roots when you were wearing that LeBron is a B-word shirt. Never forget that.
Those days are over.
Are they though? No. So first off, I love that Rondo's, hyping up his teammates. I love when guys do that. They hype up their teammates. I love seeing stuff like that. Defensive Player of the Year, probably more of the plausible out of the two. I still don't see that happening. This is gonna be biased. I want Marcus Smart to win Depoy. He's been robbed year after year. The dude makes hustle plays on hustle plays. I think Marcus Smart is going to get the Defensive Player of the Year this year. But MVP, zero chance this will ever happen. No one that is teammates with LeBron James will ever win MVP. Because no one will ever admit that someone is better than LeBron James in the NBA at the moment. People are calling LeBron James the GOAT. The greatest of all time. There is zero chance that the NBA, the media, the fans are going to give an award to a player on his team.
Yeah.
Of the MVP caliber. Zero chance that happens.
It's a fair take, and to me it's not even about that. To me it's just that there's at least 3 or 4 guys ahead of him. But we will get to that later, as Stacey said. We'll move on to the next hot take. So a website called Last Word on Sports, they wrote an article And to be fair, they had a disclaimer. These are hot takes from the author. But I think this is a hot take of a hot take because he called the Clippers Blazers Western Conference Finals. And the Blazers, they've been doing better with Melo in the lineup. But do we think they have a real shot at making it to the Western Conference Finals? Jordan, I'll start with you.
I love this hot take. And you guys know why. I'm going to leave it at that. But zero chance that happens. The Blazers, dude, I can name like 6 teams I'd have over the Blazers in the Western Conference Finals.
Me too.
Like, tell me who the Blazers are beating to get to the Clippers. Tell me the path. It would have to be like a perfect path for the Blazers to get there. What path?
They'd have to
beat the Blazers to get to the Western Conference Finals.
They'd have to beat 2 of the Nuggets, Rockets, Lakers.
Give me the Mavs over the Blazers.
Mavs, yeah.
They're not getting through Luka.
I agree.
That's a steaming take. Yikes. Love it. Love to see it.
Oh, man.
Love
Stacey, can you see the Blazers possibly reaching the Western Conference Finals?
Absolutely not. Oh, man. And it's kind of a shame because the Blazers last year they were in the Western Conference Finals and unfortunately they got swept and they got pretty much the same core players there, but so many teams are just better than them in the West. All the teams that Jordan just named, I can see those teams leaping over the Blazers right now. So I don't think they got a shot reaching the Western Conference Finals. Now the Clippers, yes, but the Blazers, oh no.
I agree 100%. The Blazers at the moment aren't even really in the playoff picture in the West, and I don't doubt that they can claw their way back in, but at the moment they're sitting outside the playoff picture. So it's definitely a hot take. Love to see it. It's all right. So we'll move on to our last hot take. ESPN's Kurt Goldsberry said that Harden is the greatest scorer in the NBA since Michael Jordan, since the GOAT. Stacey, I'm going to ask you first. And honestly, I don't think this has some base to it. This has some foundation to it compared to our other ones. But do you think that Harden is the greatest scorer since Jordan?
The greatest scorer since Jordan. Wow. I'm going to say no, I don't think he is. Mm-hmm. Even though he's great. I don't think so. I think he finds ways, he does find ways to get to the free throw line. He creates fouls. His step back is lethal. But my problem with Harden is, and especially in key games in the playoffs, he can go 3 for 20 from the 3-point line alone. Mm-hmm. Great. If you're a great scorer, you can't do that. You can't do it. You can't shoot your way out of a slump. In my opinion, the better scorer than James Harden during this era, I think KD better than James Harden because I think he's more efficient. I can rely on KD late in the games to be more efficient to give me buckets than I can James Harden. So I'm gonna have to say I disagree with that. I don't think he's the greatest scorer of this era. But it is a hard argument because he just came off 36 points per game. You don't get that when you're an average scorer. So it is something, but no, in my opinion, I don't think so.
Yeah, and even to this point in the season so far, he's averaging 37.4 minutes per game. And somehow he's finding a way to average more points than he is minutes. 37.4 is a lot of minutes. He's averaging 39.5 points per game, which is incredible. And is it sustainable? Probably not. But, last year he did average 36 plus. So, we'll see. But I agree with you that I think KD is a better option to challenge for that best scorer title. But Jordan, what do you think? Is he off base with that, or does he have a point?
So first off, I want to say I wish Mike was here this week because I think Mike would have had a field day with this as a Lakers fan.
Yeah.
But no, I don't think he's that off base at all. I mean, look, I have James Harden stats pulled off right now. As this season, you guys mentioned, he's averaging just under 40 points a game at 39.5. efficiency, you definitely have to bring that into question. He's shooting 43-3 from the field, 34-4 from beyond the arc. Not the greatest numbers, better. But one thing that I also want to call up to attention is that every single year, he has improved in points per game. Every single year.
That's impressive.
It just seems like when you find one way to stop him from scoring, he will find another way to score. That's the one thing I want to credit to Harden is he'll always find some way to score. And, as you mentioned, he could go 3 for 20 from the field, but he's not going to stop shooting. That's a good thing and a bad thing. It's a blessing and a curse. Bringing it back to my Celtics, I used to hate when Marcus Smart shot the ball because every night he'd be going 3 for 20. But obviously he's improved it since then. But that's a hard trait to find where you can be having that bad of a game and still find ways to score. And Harden's done that. He's never really given up on his shot, and he keeps improving it every year. I don't think it's that far off base. Would I say he's the best since Jordan? I don't know. This is really tough. I would take Harden over KD, though, scoring-wise. I would take that. I would disagree with you on that aspect. I just find that, I don't know. KD's never really been on his own before. He's always kind of had some star power around him. I mean, Harden's had a good cast around him for most of his career, but there had been times when he was completely all by himself and he made it work. And another thing I want to bring up about Harden, too, is like he also knows when to pass the ball. He's still getting 8 assists. Yeah. Just under 8 assists this season. And 6 rebounds. Like he can do it all while scoring. So do I think the claim is a hot take? No. I don't think he's far off. But I can't give a definitive answer right now on who the greatest scorer would be. That would involve a lot more research, I think.
Yeah, for sure.
To look into that. But I don't think it's a far off claim.
I respect that. All right, that was our last hot take. So, Jordan, I'll pass it back to you for the rest of the episode.
So we're going to keep on the topic of James Harden. The other night, the Rockets played the San Antonio Spurs. James Harden got a steal, took it down the court, and dunked it so hard that the ball went back inside the rim and out. Never seen that happen before, but it did. Maybe if the editor of this is feeling crazy, he'll put the video in for you guys so you can watch it. Stacey, hint, if you want to. But it was kind of crazy. Ball went in, ball went out. Ref didn't think the ball went in. Harden kind of questioned it too because Harden came running back. It was just because something that no one ever seen. The ball clearly went in, clearly went through the rim, clearly went through the net, and then scooped back up somehow because physics. Very, very interesting. They ended up ruling it not a basket. They wouldn't really replay it at all. The game ended up going to double overtime where the Rockets eventually lost the game. This caused the Rockets to file a petition against the NBA. What they are looking for is either the NBA hands them the win, since that basket should have counted and it never should have gone to double overtime, or that they get to replay the final 7 minutes, something seconds of that fourth quarter, where the Rockets had a pretty generous lead at that point. I don't remember the exact number, but they had a pretty generous lead, and they ended up blowing it. So kind of wanted to talk about that. Does that one play change the outcome of that game? And what do you think is going to happen with the appeal? And just your general thoughts on the appeal, because I think it's interesting to say the least. So we'll start with you this time, Ben.
I think to start with your first question, basketball is a momentum game. And at the point of the dunk, there was just under 8 minutes left. The Rockets were up 15. Would have been up 17 if the basket had counted. And, it was a big dunk. So, that's kind of a momentum builder. I think the Spurs might not have even been able to make a comeback. But at the same time, you can never, it's all just a bunch of what ifs. You know what I mean? Like the Spurs could have gathered even more momentum and ended up winning in the end, after that. So I think the Rockets have a claim at both being handed the win, because it's true that the game was tied at the end of regulation. But, if you look at it kind of black and white, Rockets would have been up 2 because they would have had those 2 extra points, would have won the game. And they have a claim also, which is fair, at replaying the last 7 minutes and 50 seconds of the game. But neither of those things are going to happen. The NBA is not going to do anything with this, and I don't think they should, because it's all just a bunch of what ifs. It's never going to be fair to either team. It's not fair to the Spurs to replay the last 7 minutes 50 seconds of that game and have them lose. It's not fair to just take the win from the Spurs and give it to the Rockets. But I do think the Rockets have a claim at both. So either way, someone's going to be upset, and I think the league's just going to leave it as is, for sure.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I would agree with you. I think the league's going to keep it the same. I think it would be crazy if they did anything. I mean, the NBA is a league of blown calls. We've seen it before. We'll see it again. It's always going to happen. That's just one call. As unfortunate as it is, it probably won't be the last time it happens. We see it year in, year out. The refs make mistakes. They're people too. Obviously, that was up there in the most ridiculous blown calls I've ever seen, because the ball clearly went through the rim. I don't know. I think, and I'm glad you brought it up. What'd you say? Momentum. Basketball's a game of momentum. That stop of play, regardless if they ended up counting it or not, was a huge change in momentum. It allowed, the Spurs to kind of recuperate from going down that much and kind of make a game plan moving forward. They kind of use it as a timeout. Yeah, definitely a big momentum shift right there, because, once they rule that not a basket, it's kind of in the Rockets' head for the rest of the game. They're constantly thinking, that should have counted, that should have counted. As the Spurs are starting to make a comeback, it's getting harder and harder for the Rockets to move past that missed call, and it's going to get harder and harder for them to play at their top level. So I definitely agree with you with that, Ben. But Stacey, I want to get your thoughts on it.
Well, first of all, the basket should have counted. I think we all can agree on that.
Easily.
I think that's the only claim that they got here. Like, first of all, okay, I know, you were cheated out of 2 points, basically. But, like Ben brought up, you was up by 15 at that point, or around that area. So, what happened to your defense the last 7 minutes and 50 seconds of the game? How come you couldn't just stop the Spurs? And then you went to overtime, so you had an extra period to right the ship, and you couldn't do it. The Rockets basically just blew that game. And then you asked for the win. They're not gonna give you the win off that, because you didn't earn the win. The Spurs earned the win. Y'all just lost out on 2 points. And then the other option is, for the last 7 minutes and 50 seconds, who gonna waste their time to recreate the last 7 minutes and 50 seconds? At what date or whatever? Who's gonna set all that up? And then the funny part about that is they can very well lose that last 7 minutes and 50 seconds if they do it again. So what if the Spurs win that last 7 minutes and 50 seconds if they recreate it? So we did all this for nothing. So they can protest and be mad all they want to, but at the end of the day, the Spurs won the game. You guys blew a 15-point lead. You should have had got stops. Maybe they missed. I didn't see the game personally, but maybe you missed some free throws down the way that could have helped out. Maybe you missed some free throws early or some easy shots earlier. So let's talk about how the defense broke down after that instead of these 2 points that should have counted.
Yeah, I would definitely agree.
Yeah, and even to me, just like thinking about the logistics of how they would make that happen. Like, would they make fans buy tickets to watch 8 minutes of play, Rockets and Spurs? Where would it take place? How would they fit that into the schedule?
Yeah.
Like, doesn't really make sense.
Yeah, there's no way anything's going to happen with that. Rockets are just going to have to move on from it. Just like we're going to move on from this topic. Next up, we are creating a new segment for the show. Last year we had Player of the Week, where we looked back on the previous week and talked about who we thought had the best week, but something we want to bring up new to the show. We're going to call it Game of the Week, and we're going to be talking about a game in the upcoming week that we think is going to be the best game. Like, if you can only watch one game this week, this is the game you need to watch. The characteristics, I don't know. The criteria we're using for this is Sunday through Saturday. So starting Sunday, which will be, I don't know, the 8th, the 9th, something like that. I don't know. Today is Thursday. So the Sunday after this Thursday, which is today's the 5th, whenever that is, Sunday through Saturday, within that week, we're going to pick one game, and Stacey's going to run this segment. I'm going to tell us what he thinks the game of the week is. So, Stacey, take it.
All right, the game of the week. The game everybody should have their eyes glued. All right, everybody, I want y'all to save this date. December 11th. Who are the two teams that's going to play December 11th? It's going to be the Clippers going against Ben's Toronto Raptors. And the game is going to be in Toronto. Why is that the game of the week? Who's on the Clippers now? Kawhi Leonard. What team did he play for last year? The Raptors. Who won the championship last year? The Raptors. This will be Kawhi Leonard's first time going back to Toronto post-championship celebration. And then the Raptors are playing pretty good. They have an MVP candidate of their own in Paschall Siakam. Now, I know they've been going through their injuries. You know, they've been short in the rotation. But, you know, they've been making it work this whole time. So, hopefully, we'll see them at full strength. And then if we see the Clippers at full strength, it's going to be an interesting matchup because they have Kawhi, PG, Lou Will, etc., that don't mean that it's going to be an easy game. The Raptors, they're going to be hungry for this game. They're going to show Kawhi, you should have never left Toronto. We gave you the city, man, and you burnt out on us. So it's going to be an interesting matchup, to say the least. So what you guys feel about that game? You think it's going to be a great game, or what are you looking forward to? Jordan?
I mean, at least Kawhi is going to be playing that game and not on some load management crap like Kyrie Irving.
He better. Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, he better.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a great game. I'm kind of interested to see what the city of Toronto is going to do, whether he'll get his ring that night and they'll kind of celebrate him and applaud him and cheer him, or if they'll be more petty like us Boston fans and boo the living crap out of him. But no, in that case, I don't think they should boo Kawhi at all. He did a ton for that city. He brought them a ring. There were really no hard feelings when he left. He never promised that he was going to return. So I really hope that Toronto gives him the love he deserves. But yeah, I'm more interested to hear what Ben has to say about this. So.
Right. Ben, go ahead.
If we boo Kawhi Leonard, I'm gonna be so upset. I'm gonna be so upset because you already know, like real fans know his value last year. They're not gonna boo him. It's going to be like the rich people who don't actually know that much about basketball just have enough money to buy tickets to that ridiculously expensive game and just know that he left and that's all they know and they're going to boo him. And I really hope that doesn't happen. I'm interested to see a lot of things. First things first, he's going to get his ring that night, which should be fun to watch. I hope he gets a tribute video. I'm not sure if he will. He was only here for one season after all. But it would be cool to see that. And the game itself should be fun. Raptors are back at full strength. Kyle Lowry and Serge Ibaka are both back. Lowry's been back for 2 games. Ibaka's been back for 3. We've dropped 2 straight, Rockets, and I'm for some reason blanking whoever we played the night before the Rockets. But we've dropped 2 straight, so it'll be good to see if we can bounce back against a really strong team like the Clippers. And if the Clippers are at full strength too, Kawhi plays, Paul George plays, it should be a really fun game to watch. Like you said, Paschall Siakam is an MVP candidate, and Paul George and Kawhi Leonard are both not entirely in the conversation right now, but both of them are great players and have at times been in the MVP conversation. So I'm really excited to watch this game.
Yeah, well, one more thing. How many points Kawhi's going to end up scoring in this game? Because this could be a game where he shows off a little bit, like, look at me, I'm all in Los Angeles, balling out and all that. But this also could be a game where, like you said, he's going to get his ring. They're going to probably show one-year package, show that shot he had against the 76ers or whatever. And he could just cruise that night. So what's our points projecting here?
I'm going to go over under 30. I'll take the over. I think he's going to have a good 30. Night. And I don't even – he hasn't been scoring a lot this season. but I'm expecting him to do a lot in this game, just because I feel like he's going to be feeling the pressure, and as we've seen, Kawhi performs under pressure, so I could see him scoring 35 plus on us.
Wow. I had him under 20.
Under 20.
I think he's going to be in the what it do, baby kind of mood. Just kind of coasting along, having fun. I think I hope the crowd kind of gives him some love, and I hope he just kind of coasts in off that, has some fun. He's kind of a more quiet, humble guy, so I don't think he's going to try to show off. I don't think he's that type of person. I really don't think he cares, to be honest. Yeah, I think he's just going to have some fun. He's going to get his championship ring and have some fun. That's my opinion.
I could see him like turning up the heat in like the second half, late third, fourth quarter, especially if the game close, and then somehow you just end up with a quiet 30 points. So I think that's possible. But that's the game of the week. Clippers, Raptors, Wednesday, December 11th. That's the end of the segment. Back to you, Jordan.
Awesome. Thank you, Stacey. Definitely excited for that game. It's going to be a fun one. Something that has been debated about in the NBA now. Some rule changes have been talked about amongst Adam Silver and other NBA executives. Some of the things they've talked about was shortening the NBA season, creating a play-in tournament to get those final seedings, kind of like what the baseball and football do with the wild card. And one of the more interesting things that they proposed is an in-season tournament. So at first I was kind of like, why? What's the motivation behind that? Why would they care? It's not the NBA Finals. So what they did to kind of counteract that lack of motivation, the winning team gets an extra first-round draft pick in the NBA draft for that next year. And all of the games in the tournament also count towards the regular season record. So it's not like they have a reason to lose, I guess. Like, they're still going to try just as hard as if it was a regular season game, because it's in a tournament, but it's also at the same time a regular season game, if that makes any sense. That's what kind of confused me. I mean, it's regular season, but it's also a tournament. So kind of weird to me, but that's how they want to do it. I kind of wanted to get your thoughts on the in-season tournament proposal, if you like the reward for it, if you think there should be more, and how you think players will take it seriously or not. We're going to start with you this time, Stacey.
Honestly, I'm not feeling these new rules. I'm not feeling these proposed changes. I'm not feeling the mid-season tournament thing. It comes off to me as like a cheesy type of deal, mimicking the NCAA March Madness event. I just don't like it at all. Then the purpose is to excite the regular season, and then they talking about shortening it to 78 games, but you can end up playing 83 regular season games in total with the tournament added. It kind of defeats the purpose of peeling back to 78. And then I would question the contending teams' motivation during this tournament. Like, it'll be fine for, like the Knicks or the Bulls or somebody who's like down there in the basement, but as far as like the Lakers or the Clippers, like, do we really need an extra draft pick? Because we could sign whoever we want. So like, I could see like the top teams like not caring about this tournament and all. And I don't know if this is going to help the NBA's regular season rating problems. I don't know. I'm not feeling these rule changes at all.
Yeah, I like your point about like, do the stronger teams really need that? It's kind of like the situation the rich get richer. I mean, if the teams do go all out and they do try their hardest, one of the best teams is going to win. And that's just giving one of the best teams another shot at getting even better with another draft pick. Whereas, a bad team could probably use that pick. So I definitely see the reason behind why they're doing it. And I think it is the ratings problem that you mentioned. I think that part of the reason they're doing that is to try to bring some more ratings, bring the ratings up during the regular season. Ratings kind of drop right after the season starts and before All-Star break. They'll come back up again after All-Star break and through the playoffs. But I think they'll put it in between that period, when the ratings are at its lowest, so kind of like right about now. And I think that's where they'll put it. I see the reason behind it, but I don't really like the way it's set up now. I think it should be between like the bottom 16 teams, bottom 14 teams, something like that. I don't know. so that it's kind of interesting in the way that, one of the best teams isn't going to get another draft pick because no one really wants to see the Lakers get another superstar. No one wants that. We're done with super teams, right? No, yeah. I wish. But Ben, what are your thoughts on the in-season tournament?
It's kind of exciting to me. I always kind of loved watching NCAA just because it's so competitive. You have your rivals like Duke and UNC, Kansas, Kentucky, teams like that. And, the conference tournaments right before March Madness are definitely fun to watch. It's where you see a lot of upsets. And the incentive there is that whoever wins the conference tournament is automatically in March Madness. And I like that they added some incentive here. The only problem I have with this incentive is that we know more or less whoever wins this tournament is going to be a strong team. Like, we're not expecting the Atlanta Hawks to go out there and win this tournament and get an extra draft pick. It's going to be a team like the Lakers or the Clippers getting that draft pick. And also, where would the draft pick be? Because it could be a second-round pick and then no one cares, or it could be like a top 10 pick and then it's a big deal, right? So, it's hard to tell how this will work. Like Stacey, like both you guys said, I get the motivation behind it. Ratings have taken a pretty sizable dip this year, and no one knows exactly why. There are definitely some theories, but a big one is streaming, is illegal streaming, because it doesn't count towards the ratings. And honestly, if that is one of the big reasons, doing this won't change anything. People are just going to watch the in-season tournament on Reddit. So it's not.
Honest, we've all been there.
Oh, pretty much every night. But I don't know. We'll see how it goes. It would take place in the 2020-2021 season. So hopefully if they do it, we will get to see it sooner rather than later. But like you guys, I'm not entirely convinced about how it would actually work. But I think it could be fun to watch for sure.
Yeah, I agree. I think they're onto something. I just think they need to fine-tune it a little bit and work on it a little bit more. Yeah. But moving on from that and kind of our last topic of the night, kind of talk about some of the current MVP candidates. Obviously, it's too early to pick an MVP right now. We're only, 20-something games into the season. We got a long way to go. 60-something games left. So let's just talk about who you guys think are some candidates right now and who are some front runners out of those candidates that you guys have. We're going to start with you this time, Ben.
Okay, I've got pretty much 3 guys leading the race, and then 1 guy, maybe 2 guys, just kind of on the tail end of that pack. In no particular order, I've got James Harden, Luka Doncic, and Giannis Antetokounmpo as my 3 leaders for MVP. Giannis is having a great season. He's showing, like Jordan, like you love to talk about, his dominance. How he's one of the most dominant players in the NBA. He absolutely bullied Blake last night on a couple of plays. And then Luka Doncic averaged 30-plus points, and then double digits in both rebounds and assists in the month of November. And James Harden just flat out can score. Almost 40 points so far this season is incredible. Like I said earlier, not sure if that's the most sustainable pace in terms of his scoring. But even if that drops a little bit, I mean, he's still got, like we said earlier, 6.1 rebounds, 7.8 assists, and he's even got some defense in there. He's averaging almost 2 steals per game, which is, kind of close to the top of the league. So he's having a great season so far, and he might just be my front runner at this point, even though a lot of people have Luka as their front runner. I think James Harden is just kind of hard to ignore. And he scored 36-plus points last season and didn't win MVP, so I think this season might be his time if he can keep up even kind of this pace all across the board. And then just below them, I have LeBron and AD, who are both Lakers. And just because they're on the same team and they're kind of eating at each other's stats, I don't think either of them will be able to win. But I think both of them will have a bid for sure. And shout out to Paschall Siakam, who's been having a great season. But he's below all those guys to me.
Does Kawhi have a chance of coming back and getting his name into the MVP running?
He hasn't been having a spectacular season so far, and he's not quite in that sort of top guys race, but it's definitely a possibility. Kawhi being who he is, being one of the best defenders in the league, and as we saw last season in the playoffs, being an incredible scorer as well. He definitely has a chance to get his name up there. But he also plays with another MVP candidate in Paul George. So like I said, with LeBron and AD, they'll be eating at each other's stats. And it'll help them win games, which seems to be, for those two guys at least, seems to be all they care about. Mm-hmm. But it'll definitely hurt their MVP chances.
Okay. Stacey, what about you? Who are your MVP candidates right now?
My candidates, my honorable mentions, I have Giannis, James Harden, LeBron, Anthony Davis. All four of those guys are well deserving. But my leading candidate right now is Luka Doncic. I'm with the rest of the world with that. He is putting up near a triple-double. His stats have greatly improved from last year. He has the Mavericks winning. They look to be a playoff team, and he's definitely going to get the MVP, or his chances are going to increase even more if the Dallas Mavericks make the playoffs. And then, the NBA tends to look for new faces to shine as far as the MVP candidate is concerned. So, I think that kind of hurts LeBron's chances. That hurts Giannis's chances a little bit. And, Harden is kind of hard to ignore. Like, they don't want to give him again, but the man is almost averaging 40. Like, he got to be at least second. But, given what the NBA's history with MVP and who's the fresh face right now is Luka Doncic. So that's my leading candidate right now.
Yeah, I would agree. Luka's also my leading candidate right now. I think the way he's just balling out. And he doesn't really have another superstar next to him. I mean, obviously has Porzingis, but no one that's really eating away at his stats. Like, you mentioned LeBron and Anthony Davis or Paul George and Kawhi. He's kind of on his own there, and the stats column obviously has Porzingis, but Porzingis has not been the old Porzingis we're used to. Below Luka, I would have Giannis, just because of, as I mentioned, and Ben, you just mentioned his dominance. I just think it's his time, man. Like, he deserves it. I would be fine with Giannis getting it. Yeah, he's a scary guy. I mean, if he can get that three at a consistent rate, yeah, he's gonna be good. He's gonna be really good, really scary, and I hate that he's in the Eastern Conference with my Celtics, but we'll get him. It's okay. Below Giannis, I would have Harden, but not very close by. I would say it's Luka, a little bit, Giannis, pretty big gap, Harden.
At 40 points per game,
he's not going to keep that up. He's not going to keep that
up. What if he gives him like 35?
Oh man!
Along with field goal 7 assists and.
Does he get that field goal rating up?
Probably not.
I would be surprised if he finished 35 points per game on like at least 47% shooting from the floor. Like they'll be crazy. Like they'll be even harder to ignore him for MVP.
And then you throw in 7 assists. Like, even if his stats dip, like 6-7 assists per game, 6-ish rebounds per game, a couple of steals. But
Stacey also brought up a good point, though. It's like the league just hates giving it to like the same people. They like bringing us new people. I feel like me and my friends had this conversation, I don't know, like 4 or 5 years ago. There was a point where like LeBron was clearly the MVP like every single year, but it was just like, who's the next MVP? Let's just give it to someone else. Like, it's just like, I don't know. I really like Luka for MVP this year, with Giannis a close second. I really don't see anyone else. I mean, I could see Harden. I wouldn't be surprised by Harden.
I just feel bad for Harden.
Zero chance he's ending the season averaging 40 points.
Oh, I agree. Yeah,
Westbrook's kind of been on a slump. I think he'll pick that up a little bit.
Yeah,
that'll take some stats away from Harden. I don't know. I also think that the Rockets are going to make some moves this year. I think they're going to make some trades.
Oh, yeah, they have to.
Yeah, I think they're going to make some trades. But no, right now I have Luka, Giannis, Gap, Harden. I don't know. We all kind of had the same three, similar though, right?
Same three, just different orders. Different order for me, at least.
Yeah, you had Harden above Giannis, right?
I had Harden, Luka, Giannis.
Harden, Luka, Giannis. Wow, okay. Stacey, we're on the same page though, right?
Yeah, I have Giannis at 2.
Nice. Yeah, you have Luka on fantasy. I've been trying to get him from you, but
oh my
Yeah.
god, I'm playing a guy by the league right now who has Luka. It's just unfair. It's just not fair.
it's insane. He's a cheat code. He's like the McCaffrey of the NBA right now in terms of fantasy basketball. He's a cheat code. It's not fair. Not fair. Anyways, that's going to do it for this episode of the CrownHoops Podcast. I want to thank our advertisements. We have SeatGeek. You can use our promo code JORDANDALY, JORDANDALY, on SeatGeek for your first purchase to get $20 off. Go to that NBA game you want. Go see your favorite player. Ben, go see Kawhi coming back to Toronto.
Yeah.
You do you, man.
Go to Jurassic Park for that one. Stand out in the cold.
Worth it. That'll be worth it.
Yeah.
Our other partner, we have Adidas. Go check out their stuff on their website, adidas.com. You can also check out their stuff through any of the links we have on our website, which will be linked down below, crownhoops.com. Make sure to go check out all of that, all of our articles. We have a great team of writers that work really hard on getting stuff out to you guys, as well as us three and Mike. But that's going to do it for episode 26. Thank you guys for listening, watching, whatever you're doing, and we will see you guys next week.